So it's the morning of day 2, which is crazy. It feels like maybe the morning of day 6. I can't believe it's only day 2. Sleep last night was terrible. It was really painful. Once again, just going from back to side until it was too painful. And then even trying to switch from position to position. Oh, really painful. I wish I could sleep on my stomach, but I'm a person that can't sleep on my stomach. If I do end up giving up on the shelter, I'm gonna have to reassess the shelter today. If I do give up on it, then I'm gonna borrow the pine boughs and put them under the tent. If there's a good thing about tossing and turning all night, it's that I was able to keep the fire going. So all I did was throw some pine needles on there today, and it flamed right up. I had a nice cup of pine needle tea brewing, and right before I turned the camera on, it just fell right into the fire. And so my kettle is covered in dirt and ash right now. I need to make a trip down to the creek to retrieve my water bottle, so I'll try to clean off the kettle and try again. Cup of tea sounds really nice. I've already seen my figure 4 trap and my Paiute deadfall. They're still set. The bait is still there. I haven't seen any sign of animals whatsoever, except for I could hear a few birds, but I haven't seen a squirrel, nothing. Maybe they don't like the ants as much as I don't like the ants. I haven't checked the snare yet, but I'm not hopeful. So today's priority, reassess the shelter, 100% get a soft bed. I absolutely need a soft bed for tonight. Set more snares. I have one dehydrated meal left, the beef stew. I ended up cooking up a big pot of rice and beans yesterday, so I feel like I'm good for this morning. I'll just have that one thing of beef stew at midday, and that'll be my food for today. And that's about it. Okay, so I've had my pine needle tea. I've mudded up. So now I'm just walking down to assess the shelter situation. Okay, so here's the current state of the shelter. You can see I have a long way to go with the roof. And by roof, I mean leaning poles up against the main ridge pole. I'm thinking even if I move these pine boughs more forward, it's still going to take a whole lot of sticks. And on top of that, most of the sticks around here have a bunch of branches, which makes it really hard to get them close together. The branches just kind of get in the way. Of course, I could take the time to cut off all the branches, but do I really want to spend hours and hours just cutting branches off a stick? So my plan is I'm going to take a really good long walk around, see if I can find a good source of poles. If I can find easy access to a large amount of poles, I'll probably continue with the shelter. And if not, I think I'll just abandon it and put the pine boughs under the tent for tonight. So, okay. So I moved the tent onto the shelter spot, onto the pine boughs. So hopefully I'll get a nice sleep tonight. I cleared out this area thinking I would make a little small fire here, but that's kind of the entrance. I don't mind, but Fajita doesn't want to walk past the fire. So basically in the process of moving camp down here, I cleared off an area for the fire over here. There's my chair, there's Fajita. So now what I'm gonna do is test the char cloth. I'm gonna try to start a new fire. I could just carry the fire down from up above, but I wanna test out this char cloth, see how good it works. Okay, so I just tore a piece of char cloth off. It's pretty brittle. Didn't have to cut it or anything. Well, it's catching the sparks. And I have embers, but I need some kind of tinder to go with it, probably. I'll try to blow this tinder bundle into flame, but oh yeah. Oh yeah, that worked great. Wow, that was fantastic. I didn't think that tinder bundle was very good, but that char cloth worked so well. Didn't really matter. I ate the beef stew. It was very good, but I'm now down to just rice and beans only, besides a few sweet tarts ropes. And the task now is water. I'm already low on water. When I finally got my water bottle out of the river from last night, it was about lukewarm. Still wasn't cool. And I'm almost out of that now, and I think it's only about 2 p.m. So for the rest of the day, I'm just going to be worrying about water, boiling, cooling, drinking. And not only do I have to wait for it to cool before I can drink it, but I have to boil 2 pots just to fill up my water bottle for tonight, to put into the river tonight, so I have something to drink tomorrow. Other than that, I just want to set more traps. When I was walking around looking for wood, I did get some ideas for traps. I saw some burrows, some holes in the ground, although most of them seem like they're old, like they're not active. But I saw some maybe animal tracks, and there's a good walking path that I want to put a couple logs down and funnel into just a narrow gap in the middle, and then I'll put a snare there. So for the rest of the day, I'll just be dealing with water and setting more snares. So there's kind of a natural trail here, and I found some poop, which doesn't look that old. It almost looks like bear poop, see little pellets, but I think it's too small to be a bear. I think a lot of animals poop like that. But anyway, what I'm gonna do here, there was already kind of a small log here, and there was one laying next to it that I pulled out. So what I want to do is make a small gap to hopefully funnel any animal coming through here, through that gap. Doesn't look like I have anything to tie the end off to, so I'm gonna pound in a stake here. I've just been sitting in the shade whittling these stakes. I'll just pound this in here. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Hopefully something will catch and it'll get snared. Now the last thing I want to do is go to my handy dandy Avenza maps. Go to this location. Oh, calibrate compass. I can hear somebody. Hope they're just on the road up there. Okay, drop a pin. I'm gonna label it snare 1. Because the last thing I want to do is lose one or forget to unset it. That would be very bad. So I want to keep track of all of these. Make sure I pick them all up before I leave. So there's another kind of natural path right here. So I did the same exact thing basically. Put a couple of logs down and try to funnel the animal through there, balance the noose on a couple of sticks tied to a stake. This is snare number 4. That first one that I put outside that den, there were actually 2 openings to the den, so I put another one on the other side, and now these 2, that's 4. So I'm looking around at this area, and it seems like there's a lot of activity. I'm seeing a lot of holes. Sometimes I think I see footprints, but it's really hard to tell. But anyway, you see what I see right there? Looks like a den right there. So I'm gonna put a noose over that den. All right, so that was quite an easy one to set. I didn't need any sticks or a stake or anything, just tied it to what was there. So 5 down, 2 to go. And let me show you this. As I was walking over here to tie it, I notice what looks like an animal run right here, probably right through here, and then I don't know if you can see it, but right along here looks like an animal run. Okay, so I just went with the stick and stake method again. I was thinking about just using the log over there and tying the noose to the log, but I couldn't quite tell where exactly they were going under the log. So, but the track is pretty clearly defined right here. So, another stick and stake. So, I've actually miscalculated. 7 fibers in the paracord, but I used one for the Paiute deadfall. So only 6 snares, which means I'm done. So I finished setting all the snares today, which is good. Tomorrow, if I catch something, obviously I'll have to kill it, clean it, cook it, and eat it. But if not, the only task I'll have is water. So that'll be a nice change. In my spare time tomorrow, I will maybe collect some cedar, work on another bow drill kit, and maybe practice with the one I've got. And if I finish the one made of cedar, practice with that one, of course. And then the following morning, probably head out. That'll be that.